I didn't think anything of it when my phone buzzed. I was picking up the kids, 5 of them, from school. A regular Thursday, chaotic as always. Tyler had forgotten his math binder. Lila was halfway to a meltdown over a scraped knee, and the twins were arguing about who got to sit behind me. I was juggling backpacks and snack wrappers, doing the whole dad shuttle routine when I glanced at the screen. A single text from her. "We're in Hawaii. Take care of the kids." At first, I thought it was a joke. I even laughed out loud, a weird, dry sound that made Lila look up from her Band-Aid and frown. But the more I stared at the message, the more I realized there were no emojis, no follow-up, not even a period. Just that sentence. Cold. Like a notification, not a message from a person you've built a life with. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Tried again. Voicemail. The kids piled into the minivan, all chatter and noise. I sat there in the driver's seat, the phone pressed to my ear like it was the last thing anchoring me to something real. But she was gone. No warning. No explanation. Just gone. We pulled into the parking lot of our local grocery store because I needed milk and clarity. 5 kids sat in the van, confused and waiting. I stepped out, leaned against the hood, and stared at the screen again. Same text. No new messages. No calls returned. That was the first moment it really hit me. She left. Not in the way people talk about needing a break or time to think. No, she vanished. I walked back to the car and looked at them, our kids, ranging from 3 to 11. All of them looking at me with some version of the same question on their faces. What now, Dad? I didn't have an answer. That night, I made grilled cheese and tomato soup. Something simple. Something warm. Something that reminded me that I could at least handle that much. "Where's Mom?" Tyler asked between bites. I wanted to lie. I wanted to say she was visiting Grandma or that she had a conference. But I looked at his eyes, so much like hers, and said she needed to go away for a little bit. That was all. That was enough for now. I didn't sleep. I just sat at the dining room table, staring at that text, trying to read between the words to find something. Anything that would tell me why. But there was nothing. No fights. No shouting. We weren't perfect, but we weren't broken either. Or at least, that's what I thought. I cleaned the kitchen at 2 a.m. because the silence was unbearable. Washed every dish. Wiped the counters until they shone. Folded laundry I didn't even know was in the dryer. At some point, I realized I'd been checking my phone every 10 minutes, waiting for her to call back, waiting for her to explain. But there was only silence. I thought maybe something had happened, some kind of emergency. Maybe she was with her sister or a friend. But Hawaii? Who the hell just up and flies to Hawaii with no word, no plan, no bags? I checked our joint bank account. That's when my stomach dropped. Plane tickets. 2 of them. Hotel bookings. Expensive ones. Spa packages. Dinner reservations. Not for me. Not for our kids. Just her and someone else. That's when the betrayal really set in. It wasn't just that she left. It was that she planned to. Down to the last detail. She packed a whole new life while I was folding laundry and packing school lunches. I didn't cry. I couldn't. Not yet. I just stared at the bank statements like they were written in another language. I called her again. Voicemail. I sent a text. You need to call me. Now. Nothing. Friday came. The kids asked again. I said she was on a trip. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell the whole truth. Because what do you say? Mom abandoned us to go sip my ties with someone else. That morning, I made another decision. I wasn't going to sit in this mess she left behind. I was going to move. Do something. For the kids. For me. I took them to the park. We played. I chased them around like I wasn't falling apart inside. I bought ice cream. We laughed. I don't know if it was for them or for me, but I needed to feel human again. Saturday morning, my phone started blowing up. 26 missed calls. All from her. Voicemails too. I didn't listen right away. I watched them pile up on my screen while I made pancakes. I poured syrup on each plate like it was any other morning. Then I stepped outside and finally listened to the first one. Her voice. Sharp. Furious. Not even sad. Furious. Where are the kids? Why aren't you answering? You can't just ignore me. I trusted you. I stared at the phone, stunned. Trusted me? Second voicemail. Ryan, you're acting insane. I needed a break. You're making this harder than it has to be. Third. I'm coming back. We need to talk. Do not shut me out. Each one sounded more frantic than the last. But not once did she say she was sorry. Or scared. or explain what the hell happened. She was just mad I wasn't playing along. That afternoon, she landed back in Nashville. I didn't go to pick her up. Instead, I stayed with the kids. We built a fort out of couch cushions and watched cartoons. I ignored every call, every buzz, every ping. Because for the first time in a long time, I realized something. I didn't have to answer. I didn't know her that anymore. That night, I tucked them in, kissed each forehead, and sat on the porch with a cup of coffee. She was back. She was furious. And I was finally calm. She showed up the next morning, banging on the door like a cop with a warrant. I was already dressed, sitting in the living room with my coffee. I didn't flinch. The kids were still asleep upstairs. Saturday morning cartoons hadn't started yet, and the house was wrapped in that rare kind of silence you learn to treasure as a parent. Another knock, louder this time. I opened the door slowly. There she was, sunburned, hair a mess, oversized sunglasses covering half her face. She didn't look like herself. She looked like someone coming down from a high they never expected to crash. "You've got a lot of nerve," she spat, before I could even say a word. I didn't respond, just stepped outside and closed the door behind me, leaving her on the porch. She glared at me. "Are the kids okay?" I nodded. "They're fine. I've been trying to call you for 2 days. And I've been taking care of the children you abandoned in a parking lot." Her mouth opened, then closed again. She wasn't expecting that tone from me. Usually, I was the one smoothing things over. The patient one. The calm one. The forgiving one. "I didn't abandon anyone," she said, arms crossing. "I needed a break. I needed to breathe." I leaned back against the porch railing. "And you thought Hawaii was the answer? With someone else? No warning, no conversation, just a text?" Her eyes flicked to the ground. "It wasn't like that." I laughed, bitter, tired. "Bank records say otherwise." She looked up then, finally, and there was a flicker of guilt in her face. But only a flicker. Mostly, it was defensiveness. "I didn't plan it to hurt you. But you did plan it." Silence. She sat down on the porch steps like her legs gave out. I watched her crumble there, folding in on herself, all that fury evaporating into something smaller. Something Messier. I didn't feel like myself anymore, Ryan. I stared at her. "And you thought vanishing would help? You don't understand. Every day it was just laundry, dishes, school runs, work, bedtime. And you." She looked at me, eyes flashing again. "You never saw it. You just functioned. Like a robot." That got to me. Maybe it was true. Maybe I had been in survival mode too long to notice what was slipping through the cracks. But I didn't disappear. I didn't run. You think I don't feel buried too? You think I haven't sat awake wondering what the hell happened to us? But I stayed. I showed up. She didn't respond. Just kept her eyes on her knees. "You left me a text and 5 kids in a parking lot," I said. "You don't come back from that with excuses." She looked up again. "What now, then? Divorce?" I didn't answer right away. I didn't know. Not yet. What I knew was this. I didn't trust her. And trust, once cracked like this, doesn't just glue back together. Not with apologies. Not with promises. "You broke something," I said quietly. "I don't know if it can be fixed." She wiped her face, but there were no tears. Just sweat and regret, and too little, too late. "You think I'm a monster," she said. "No," I replied. "I think you're selfish. And lost. And I think you let that turn you into someone I don't recognize." She stood then, brushing off her jeans. "Can I at least see them?" I nodded. "They're your kids. I'll get them ready." She reached for the door, but I stepped in front of it. "Not today. You don't get to come in like nothing happened. We'll set something up. Supervised for now." That stung. I could see it. But she didn't argue. Maybe she knew she didn't have the right to. She walked off the porch slowly, like every step was heavier than the last. When she got into her car and drove away, I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel righteous. I just felt done. That night, after the kids were asleep, I sat on the same porch, lights dim, the air warm and still. I didn't know what came next. Maybe court. Maybe custody talks. Maybe nights spent figuring out who I was without her. But I knew one thing. Whatever happened, it would be my choice now. She left me in a storm and expected me to be right where she left me when she came back. But I wasn't. I had 5 little reasons to keep moving. And maybe for the first time, I wasn't waiting to be chosen. I was choosing myself. Choosing them. And for now, that was enough.